Gospel of Luke, Luke 2:49.
Jesus here is a boy, and he's seemingly lost. And Mary, his mother, and Joseph are looking for him. They find him, and he says,
"How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not I must be about my Father's business?"
Here a young Jesus is all around in awe of his teachings. And it's like Jesus hasn't even noticed the absence of Mary and Joseph. His focus is on his mission from an early age. From an early age, he's setting examples for us, even in adulthood. They focus on our missions, to complete our tasks, and to not worry. He's basically saying, calmly, confidently, as usual, no anxiety, no worries. Just taking care of his quest, taking care of his Father's business.
Jesus never flinches an inch. And
it's amazing to me that men think they're on that level. Jesus as God is untouchable, never gets worried about anything. And men think that they can be gods, like Satan sells that catch line, doesn't he? Ye will be gods. Bizarre to me that men think that they're on that level. And Satan too, even though he's powerful as the head of the fallen angels, he's still impulsive, he's still reactionary. Compared to Jesus, he's not like that. He doesn't have that on behaviour alone. That's just what my point is. And the details of it, it's all there. Who he is way above who we are. And that's all right. That's good. We should be thankful for that. Not questioning it, not trying to take its place. It should not come into the equation. It shouldn't. But that's Satan's downfall. And that's why when people act in that way, that's who they're listening to.
Luke 4:29. An angry response here for Jesus' early ministry from people in his hometown.
And rose up and thrust him out of the city, and led him onto the brow of the hill whereon their city was built, and that they may cast him down headlong.
Not a great start, is it? Potentially killed and...
mass, mob mentality going against him.
Why be surprised? This is Satan's kingdom after all, and he's the direct threat to that. He's the biggest threat there's ever been to that. So, if Satan's freaking out right now, right, and getting into lots of people's heads, it shows also how harsh and barbaric things were at those times. Who knows what else was going on in terms of how Satan operated and his methods. Alright, so what does Jesus do? How does he react? Let's see.
But passing through the midst of them, went his way.
Just passed through them and went his way. Is that a miracle? Is that the Holy Spirit just guiding him through? It's like the Holy Spirit intervened maybe. Just took him through.
And came down to Capernaum, a city in Galilee, and taught them on the Sabbath days.
So he kept going again. You see that forthright, determined nature that he wants Christians to have too. And the Christians do have. When you follow him, you get your mind on the task, and that's it. You won't be distracted. So he teaches on the Sabbath days in the beginning. It was part-time, 1 day a week. Interesting, and it was on the Sabbath. The Pharisees wouldn't have been happy about that, would they?
Luke 5:10.
And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men.
It's a good one-liner. It's an alpha male one-liner, and he's rounding up his troops. I think a lot of lead roles in older movies were based on the character of Jesus in this alpha role that he played at times. And I can see it in Hollywood, that they would use that. He's the ultimate alpha, the King of Kings, the Alpha and Omega. So his humour and his power and his calmness are traits that I think older leading men would would have. John Wayne, and even up until the 90s when you had the macho lead guys. I think it's taken from Jesus a little bit. And also a bit of a mockery going on there that the real Jesus is not being celebrated or portrayed, but rather only his meek side, only his suffering side. But it wasn't who he was all the time, 24/7. There's lots of examples of it, which we're given, and there's going to be probably millions more examples if we had to live through it.
Luke 6:23.
Another example here of opposites and inversion between now and later, between heaven or hell or earth. Speaking of the persecuted, Jesus said,
Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets.
the reward is great, and even now God guides, and Jesus puts joy in your heart that lasts longer than any sin, and doesn't have any negative effects either. For later, there's nothing coming around the corner you need to worry about.
But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation.
Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets.
Luke 6:27.
Well, I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to those that hate you.
That's the reaction of a champion, but there's a science to it as well. Meet fire with fire,
and you've got a big fire.
you get trouble, right? Often corrupt authorities will try to trap you, and this is the navigation to avoid it. Alright? So giving them love and acceptance will, in the minimum, confuse them. But could also put, any efforts that they're putting in to antagonize you to a lost cause. And they'll just give up. They won't have heart for it anymore because they see it's not working. But it also just feels better, and it doesn't ruin your day, and it means that you'll often not give them what they want as a result, because they just want to ruin your day. They want to get in your head. Also, doing good to them might on the surface seem like a weakness, but the energy exchange and the spiritual reality doesn't say that. It views it as a strength. Your enemy is in pain, and if you give them a bit of love, they will back off. Bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. This is how you're authorized to react as well, so do this. Luke 6:41.
And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye?
Judgment is not given to us. It's unauthorized. Use it at your own peril. Take the pressure off anyway.
You're not in a position to do it yourself because of your own
behaviors.
So don't do it to others. It's not right. You're not in your jurisdiction doing it. So forget it. It's easy to criticize others as well. It's much easier than criticizing ourselves, isn't it?
And acting perfect is exhausting. Anyway.
I wouldn't wish that my worst enemy. Acting perfect.
Tiring stuff.
Luke 7:9. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him and turned him about and said unto the people that followed him, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. This is like a happy teacher moment for Jesus, I think, that people understand him, because he turns them about and says, everybody look, it's like having a student give you the affirmation that you're not wasting your time, that they are listening. And if you show faith, you might even make Jesus himself marvel at you. You could make Jesus himself marvel at you from faith, from showing faith. Eureka! They get me. They really get me. It's a happy teacher moment, isn't it? So what subject did Jesus teach, do you think?
What subject did Jesus teach?
Heavenly knowledge. The introduction, maybe, to heavenly knowledge. How to get out of earth. How to escape Satan's kingdom? How to escape Satan's kingdom with an introduction on heavenly knowledge, right? For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. We already know Jesus doesn't consider this to be life, so you'll gain actual life.
Where things are much better than here.
For what is a man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? How many times have we seen this in life? Keep an eye on what's going on with people that spend so much time trying to achieve something, and then it's a worldly goal and it just ruins them. And on the outside they have everything, and then it just comes round again. The whole thing comes round again, where people think that this is something to be applauded for aspiring to, but it just brings everybody pain. It does it. Nobody puts a full stop on it. Nobody shines any light on it. Yet it happens over and over again. To just say, oh, they've changed, they're blah, blah, blah. Well, they're subject to the same universal law that we are. And Jesus is their leader as well. So that's what's happened to them. They didn't just fall off. It's right there. What is a man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? How many millionaires have declared on their deathbed that they should have followed Jesus and not followed money? How many millionaires have declared on their deathbed that they regret what they've done with their life? A lot. A lot. But it's not cool to speak against money. Well, I'm doing it. I just see it as a necessity. That's it. That's it. I find extravagance depressing. I find it all a bit disappointing, unrewarding. Doesn't satisfy my soul. I don't want it. I know there's danger with it as well, so it scares me a bit.
Luke 10:5.
When speaking to his disciples regarding missions, Jesus said,
And unto whatsoever house ye enter, first say,
Peace be to this house. So give peace to the house. This is a new instruction. Give peace to the house. Talk to the walls, or is it just the general area, I think. Give peace to the house. Give it acceptance. And if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it. If not, it shall turn to you again. If Jesus is present there, he'll receive it. But if not, the peace will bounce back and return to you. So that's the dynamic there.
Jesus is in the house.
This is where Christian consistency comes from, guys. This is Jesus' message about continuing regardless, just like he did. Let your peace come back to you. Don't get into a state thinking about why are they rejecting my peace. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Consider it normal if they reject your peace. If they give it back to you, then consider it a bonus.
And in the same house remain eating and drinking, such things as they give, for the laborer is worthy of his hire.
Go not from house to house. Direct order from Jesus. Don't go house to house. Interesting, isn't it? Could it be that that's a trap to turn you against Christianity? At this point,
You're watching this video out of your choice. I'm not forcing this video on you.
so you can't put anything on me here. But overall, why would he want his one word thrown out to be accepted? He's not going to do that. He doesn't want to see that. No. God's word is much more important than that. God's word is to be sought, and if you're lucky, you'll grasp it. He'll give you that. He'll give you the knowledge to understand it. You're lucky. It's funny that I actually think churches are the first point of call for Satan to infiltrate. They would be the first places that he would go, for sure. And it's no coincidence either that when Jesus comes back, his first point of call is to address the churches. The names have changed in Revelation from what they are today, so it's not as clear as that. But that's what he does immediately when he comes back. He addresses the churches. Don't get offended. Don't forget all that. That's a trap as well.